hate more on Cyril than the controller Cyril.
That's true.
You understand where I'm going?
Maria, I think it's conditioning from.
Yeah, I say you have a right to hate him.
So, like, there's this issue like Christianity. I agree, Christianity it's any by adopt as a religion of state. By really the Witchcraft Act. So that lesa kono practice spirituality sa lena South Africa. Nere gola ba condition from primary. We are assembly ho fetsa ba re ke obala sedumedi biblical studies. So they are conditioning you from so that you see this one which is yours as foreign and demonic. Eya renwe ya go pasa. We want a little hate then. Who are pretty pit automatic or a year into a lawyer. So, and then what adopt the inks? I agree Christianity to adopt as Europe.
Yes.
The way of dressing, Barapela Casahua Majaja, Ville, Okejagugian, but Ogugian gonna give a Vatsonga 100%. Mara English. They feel superior, Babela Casahua. Hoya go kitene go majute Judaism na ke na loya le kote ho fihla kwa o tshwantse ba go fe lebitso la sejuta ba go fe dibuka tsa di tradition o ithute tradition tsa sejuta di culture le kapare le go ja go roje ka sejuta so you become Jewish, you lose yourself. Hoya go si Islam the same thing, o ithuta ora pela ka si Arabic o apara sa Arabic o ja sa Arabic. So every religion tells you against yourself. Mara babamba watsini ka di Witchcraft Act ba thoma di African churches. Okay. Like Ronaldo's CC was Shembele where they adopt the cultural activities tsa rena tsa setso. Go ya go CC gona le mmino mo ba re ke dikiba. Linkedi. Ke mebino yang ya badimo ya setso. They adopted it because they couldn't practice it. But under umbrella ya crack you can practice. So I want Christianity le ona influences the way but however no tsena o hlakana le nna ke lengaka ke na le Bible ke na le speaker le ya la ipushero di tsa mo ba le jeli le sidimo ka gore this Bible le tlile ka bo 18 something ya le batho o tshwere ke bo go ba khale yene ho tshwara ke batho hantsha a o tshware ke batho ba tlhokofetseng no tshwara ke batho ba le ba go mara. So when o nukus example na mina ni mdla mara hembala micheka yo fana switanjani or wena ba re o ne badimo ba nguni o jwa botswana ba re o gogo mahlasela o jwa botswana why goes cause na re zinkiri re kwe ba re o ne ku lesedi
a ona gogo Limpopo mara ba thwasa ba
ditsa mara o ne claro change je ba re o ne badimo ba bangoni mara ya go KZN a sinkira kwa ba re monno bina malopa le go KZN ke kuku mamang ke ngaka tshupe ya ai go mara bangoni ba tshwara ba rena batho ba borena ke bokoko le bomkhulu re apara gere o itse gwera bolo njeti mapalu na ke gere one ra apara lo ja go swana re bitsana bo gogol bomkhulu re ikira ka intwe ka gore motho a ntshwereng wa 1700 a ntshwere lo rena a phela ko shaishai go mobileng wena o swere ke motho na phela ko Botswana ka 1800 batho ba ororo ba swana mpho ya bona e bile ba rata dilo tsa go swana ba berekisa masela go swana mara ya re berekisa re apara dilo tsa go swana interesa mabito ya ngwe ba gogo mahlasela kokwan man mara how so wa bona there's been infiltration ya dilo foreign things more in our religion spirituality so either ke Christianity or this fashion ya go tsamaya le dinako tsa gone bjale ka gore ntwe le ngwe ka re bjane ke trend so o ga se
ma windless contain
re ke touch di spirituality
before we go mo go spiritual ke no go butcha party. So if go join Islam by lompa lina la Muslim go va al Sheikh Mashiach and then kinali Christian name so kino go butcham a ona magwa le reng lina le sfane ke ya Basotho a ona magwa le reng since they came into South Africa nakwela ne ba re they are Europeans and ba re ke bona
South African.
they are Africans now ne ba gona ba na kore e bile ska ka sfanning it's an extreme,
Just a name. Yeah.
o lo reng idea ke Thabo Samuel
Never.
o ke Ntsako Tshepiso.
Never. You don't find that.
Go dira why go ba so?
Because rena re nya go tshwana le bona ba nya go tshwana le rena. So motho ke role model la o ira ntwengwe le ngwe di ankele goa because you will then feel superior. So rena ho tsena mo spirituality ho ka level agrema
So ba ta spirituality sa rena
au agrena ra adoptile ja bona ona belo re ma Catholic re ma Anglican ebile rena di uniform o sa lo bona le khwala ba bere uniform ba re madodana a se wezela mago
madodana se weselte madodana a se sante
salwa bona kae oro o le bela video ja bona maroma ba bere uniform putego au a di gona ke rena batho ba bantšhu ba we always tsia dilo ja ba thori di adopt ebile re exaggerate lenyalo for example re adoptile white wedding ape ka white wedding ntate wa ngwanyana ke ena patellang lenyalo le wise and then ba iranyana nthunyana hey Rena we adopt and then we go
what 200 people seated
yeah
and then kamuntle ke 500 tsolla strata sa luxury
yeah and then but ba rena they feel hora sa ira white wedding ha nyala. So and remember white wedding is a traditional wedding ya makgowa. So the way you feel inferior how we really mahadi o feel like I ise ke fihle ke swantse ke di etsa makgowa pe then batho ba tla ntlhompha. So what's the spirituality agar hierarchy rena na rena le khoshi ke yone e bushang agar so me phahlo a e phahla o si phahla kuba ku pfula lembe nguba ku kombela mfula like they would go to mochachi o khopela pula kere khoshi ne matla ka se moya ka hore ke ena bolela le badimo loji dintsi tsa spirituality di thoma go khoshing di biwa go khoshing ho ya komeng ba tshwantse ba be go khoshing pele and those things then re be le ngaka nganga ina ere ta go herbalist mo lo akombiwa go miri e ba kokwani wa yena mimiri yo lapha mababzi. This would be our magicians because ba tseba science ya dihlare ore ke mixitse ntweliye go tswa mollo re be le mongoma mongoma ke mothola go thwasa so ina e Xitsonga ina Xikwembu swa Vatsenze ko lo xi humini Xikwembu xexo xi vulavula ririmi ra Xitsonga. But because we also incorporated the Ndawus kotala kuma ku ya vana Xikwembu swa Vandzawu loko iri Mutsonga van'wani lava va tshama hala ya ku ri na vangoni va kuma va ri na Xikwembu swa vangoni so munhu wa loyi lo tirhisa ku tinhlolo iri I mungoma o ya ngakeng a hasha marapo ale a go fa ditaba then everybody nyamisoro ka se go ba ke medium
okay
e mo lo bla kuna Xikwembu e bla na memoya ya lava nyaka na lava nga lova wa femba one bjale una lo bona videos tsa mazalwana ba re ba go rapelle ba ro ba ntse matimono motho a bolele mo wena ke nna mokete ke budia 1 2 3 ka polelo a rena re motho wa o femba and then go tswa batho ba le ba go fa ditaba o khona hore ke nya go bolela le kokwa ka mangma motho o khona go connecta le
it's a media that connects ka moleka
inyamisoro kuba namhlahli ngona mtako ke ngaka tshupe mundu wa bona go xifuba sweswe go lebeletse nga go botsa ditaba jao o ba ke bona le tsi di satla
ke lebo
a ke ra adoptile mabitso a se Kriste ra re ke mo profeta ba bang ba re ke I sithunwa ne mara ka setso imboni ka sizulu ena ere emhlahli ba pedi ba tla re ke ngaka tshupe tshupe a beng tshupe o khona o boja o ne bele khona o mpoja ore mona ke nyaka go kwa ka ke tsebo ro hwetse kae na ebe ke se chaka se moya go boja o mola modimolle o ne thaba mola o ne mothare o ro hwetse mola mogekolo ke a bona ke khona o bona tjaka pele le tjaka morao wa bona then ho ba le singwa mbatanda ke generalist o tseba ho femba o tseba ditaola xingwamatanda holo ya khale na va tseya va teka munhu hala mutini va teka wena va nge va ku lombetaka hi vuloyi va teka ntsumi ya le vuhosini va famba vanhu lava ya le ka xingwamatanda loko yi loya ya vuya yi beriwini nhloko leyi ura ri ke mafelo ya moloyi ya eba ka gore ba uša mongomi ya o tseba gore ne bothata
so wa tsara ke the reason o bona ke tshwere phone ne ke nyoko tsena o in any of those podcasts go for an opportunity to clarify a few things ne but I just want to maybe to correct to give an opportunity to correct others are worried kataba ya the links between Vatsonga and I'm talking about the umbrella and unfortunately I'm giving you an opportunity to answer on the previous podcast that you were not part of, the parallels that they drew between the Ngunis and the Tsongas. So I just want you to, maybe in short, explain why, and I tell people a lot already, the Tsonga language, its next, its closest relative, it's Nguni. But you find the Ngunis have this animosity towards the Tsongas. Just explain why there are a lot of Nguni words in Xitsonga. Just explain that part, just so you could understand.
Well, my understanding is that depending on naudulakai. Erege example mo pedi wa mo amaskran. Ona di influence di polelo je dinchi. Ona fa ba re keng ba bushback rich ba pedi ba bushback le re mapulana a kere ba dula le Maswati le Vatsonga. So if you listen to them, they have a lot of Tsonga words there, moshipulane le Swati words. So Vatsonga, remember mo Vatsongeng rena le Bambai.
Okay.
Mbai is more of Swati and Nguni and Shironga. So I don't know if it was originally one family and they branched, but yeah, there's some similarities. Kadi languages is arenat. Yeah, so there was Shitswa, there's Shichopi, and then there's Shironga, Shibila, for example. When you're in Mozambique, you can differentiate, but you can hear this person when they talk. Like I would. There's this assumption that when you come to from Mozambique, you are a Shangan.
Yeah.
Are you aware of that? Most people, when they say I'm from Mozambique, automatically say
yes.
And then there's so many languages that Shangan is even just a fraction of the population.
Yes.
The Shangan. So, but there's similarities between Nguni. Because I think the reason is because they are Bantu languages.
Yes.
So they would be. That's
ordinarily,
why. Yeah. Even Moses Sutung. When I'm because this is the Bantu languages. So I think the similarities is there. Not that we are from one.
Okay. So here's Mtolisi Magubani, or please bring another Tsonga historical expert. Maybe then we can start from that point. Magubani is a descendant of Basotho, but today Singama Zulu, and yes, we acknowledge that we come from Basotho. He wants to understand the links that you just drew. Or please bring another Tsonga historical expert.
Oh yeah, no, my
understanding can start from that
one.
point. Magubani is descendant of Basotho, but today Singama Zulu. And we acknowledge that, and we come from Basotho. So I think you touched on it when you spoke about. You said the Balois are Barotsi, and then Basotho ones are
Basotho, the Matovela, the Shiburi.
Yes, but they are now assimilated into Vatsonga.
That's correct.
Okay.
So we also have, for example, I met one of the Mabundas who's from KZN.
Mabunda from KZN.
So
Mabunda
speaks very fluent Zulu, Itakazelo is Zulu, and there's, for example, this
Yes.
There's Matebula, there's Mukansi. They even changed the way they write their surname. They say Mukatsi. Revesi would be say Levesi.
Okay.
And then automatically they are Tswanafied. Because Lema Bizo Gibo Tabiso Levesi, Tepo Mukatsi. So how Tepo Mukatsi, would you even trace it to Vatsonga? Never. Because they even change the way they write. Ne?
Yeah.
So, but because it's Bantu languages, there will be similarities or normal. This way we have it in Xitsonga. So, I don't think it's because we are from one tree.
Yeah.
But I don't know because it's Bantu languages.
Yeah.
There's some similarities there.
Okay. So they say, nice interview, except he clearly does not understand Siswati. It's not a mixture of Tsonga and Nguni. It's Tekela Nguni, which is actually traced back to East Africa. This was said by, let me find the name of the person. He just said PM.
Okay, what I've learned with languages is that a language will evolve. Ne? English, if you check most of the words that are even in the dictionaries, nobody used those words.
Yes.
But they were used then. So your language will evolve because of where you stay with all the other dialects that are around there. So you will then adopt words. That's Tsonga. Like right now, whenever we say ahe, a person will greet you and say ahe, and then you or you will say Abshen and then you say ahe.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, ahe is a Sotho word.
Yeah, so there's one by Taki William Mujapilu. He says, my guide talk rubbish. When the Tsonga came South Africa from Mozambique, was the Shangan, and they started to, he wrote it very badly, let me try. But he says, when the Tsonga came to South Africa from Mozambique, the Shangan, they started to call themselves Tsonga. They don't have land here in South Africa. Guyana is the land of Balobedu. And then, but you are clueless, but Tsonga lived here before it was called South Africa and before Soshangana was born, who then named Shangan is from. Well, it's just people
but then
speaking.
Okay, this guy came around 1821, 24, and then started conquering until he died at 1858 around there. So since he arrived there, there have been migration to the Soutpansbeck, to Transvaal. Remember in Mpumalanga we would have the Munisi and Xhosas. They've been there for generations, for centuries. And as we were saying, the Balois have been there and the Malulekes. Okay. So, but there was migration because of these wars. A lot of Tsonga started coming this way. But remember, they were not called Tsonga. And they were not called Shangan. You would be called by your clan. And then remember, a clan name would come like Bahlabi. They say they were staying where there's this plant called Nhlaba.
Okay.
So you would either be, the clan name would be because of the area, you'd be called under that area where you were staying, or it would be the name of your king. So people were called by that. That's why there was no Vatsonga. They would say Lavaya Vale Buronga because they were staying that side. So they started migrating in numbers around that time of 1821 until the borders started in 1885.
Even now we don't have them. It's just a
bunch of our imagination. So these people get. But the point is that Vatsonga have been here for centuries. As you say, the Mukaris have been there for centuries. The Balois, the Xhosas in Mpumalanga, and the Munisis and the Malulekes in Malamlele. And there, West Guyana, we heard from historians that they were Bankomati, the Ndlovus. They used to stay there centuries back. So, well, there is this recorded migration, because now people started writing about 1800. So that's why we can record to say Vatsonga, some of them started coming because they were running away from these killers. Yes.
So I think I'm done with checking the questions from the podcast.
Yeah, and the language issue, the Siswati, I think Ntsako explained to say Siswati is more of a Nguni, and then some weights of the Tsongas. Yes. So if you look at our dialect, then some say there's some similarities there and there, because we are Bantu people, so there would be those similarities in languages.
Yeah. Now, in closing, what is it that you thought we did not touch? We did not touch. Yeah.
They were asking me about the people who used Mapulandlela as Itagazelo, Sreto.
Yes.
But they don't understand where it started.
Okay.
They incorporated it in their praise songs.
Okay.
And then this comes after this guy conquered those clans Vatsonga in Mozambique, and he will take these guys because they were his slaves. He would mark them.
Okay.
They will be the first line of defense.
Okay.
So, meaning if they start killing you there, because So now
not warriors.
Adopt those things and now start praising themselves. Without understanding what actually you are saying, hey, I am a former slave. And there's this one, Ndabezita. Most of our kings, chiefs there in Limpopo, they use Ndabezita to refer to themselves, or they are subject to refer to them as Ndabezita. But if you listen to Zulu historians, that Ndabezita is not referring to a king.
What does it mean?
It means it's a praise song for the Mbata family, the Biela, the Nchangasi, and the Zulu family. It comes from this guy called Jamaka Ndaba. So they take that Ndaba, and then their great grandfather, I think, is Mpangazita. So they take Ndaba and Zita, they say Ndabezita. So it was a praise for them, for that family. But now we adopted these words and we're calling ourselves Ndabezita without even really understanding where it comes from. And
but doesn't it, in itself, for that defense, how language morphs and changes and new words are formed?
You must get the basic. Okay, I have that annoying habit of researching things.
Yes.
So that's why, for example, you know the calendar we're using now.
The Gregorian one.
Yeah. You know those names that are the month of March, April, what do they mean? Or where do they emanate from? Mavitso Sunday. If you listen, every word is praising a specific God.
Yeah.
But we use them so loosely, without even understanding. So I had a habit of trying to find out, okay, if we're saying this, where does it come from? So Horeta Vadimu ba Honaleya Rena ya Gazankulu. Akerebare Vatwale ba fetsa go forma Gazankulu. They even wrote a praise to say eba mabosha ndlebe eba Tsonga boka ba nga tsongoliswa ngwana eba tukulu ba gwambe na dzabane. What does that mean?
Tell us.
Now, when you say Ntokuluwa Gwambe, you are saying I'm a son or granddaughter of Gwambe. Gwambe who's Balu, or Kiwa Balu, Kimotolo Balu. Hore Zavani, you are referring to Malulek. Ngungunyan, you are referring to Numa. You see, it's three families here.
Yeah. So is it wrong to...
No, but this was taught in schools. Even others now, those who went to school, they still recite that.
No, the reason I'm asking you is it wrong to do that? Because in itself, it's a way of killing our separate roots to make ourselves one. Because remember, as an African, that's why I hate borders. As an African, I always want us to forget what separates us, but what unites us. And you will understand why Barkman, Dr. Umar Johnson speaks about when Africans vote, they first want to check, okay, ke Malema. Yes. So even if Malema's ideology is correct,
but because of
yes, someone will not vote for him. But his same ideology, spoken by someone in Cape Town, that person in Cape Town would vote for that Malema Part 2 than vote for Malema Part 1, even if they say the same thing.
No, that's true.
You understand?
That's true.
Because you ask yourself, we said ANC, EFF, and MK are actually singing the same song. I think the difference would be they are singing the same song, but they are not dancing the same.
But that is human nature. I don't think there's something wrong with that.
Yeah, I wanted to say this separation sometimes is on tribal and clan lines.
These guys had an opportunity to unite us without mentioning their grandfathers. But now, when you, like really, Mawinda, proudly, like really.
So is it a necessary rhyme taught at school?
No. Yeah, it was taught in school. So that's why these people are conditioned from those who went to school and recited this thing. They're even teaching their kids that thing. Because that's what they know. Like really, guys.
Look, cultural imperialism.
They have an opportunity to write a poem or unite them without mentioning specific families. Okay, if you say Vatsonga you're not mentioning anybody there. You can elaborate further on that. But when you start saying like really me bra. Yeah, basically you're saying now I must subscribe to
and it gets us to the part. Is that what motivated you to start writing correct literature?
Yeah, because we're trying to educate people to say, guys, don't just find out where these things come from.
And tell us about the books. Yes. As you attempt to correct this.
In the book, we have researchers who wrote books.
Yes.
Kuna book ya Matimu ya Vatsonga, which details our history back from 1200 to around 1500. We have book ya Mandla Matebula, 800 years of Tsonga history. So it will tell you Vahlawe migrated from what we call Mozambique now, or from St Lucia Bay to Mozambique, to where, when, and all that. So it documents that history. So we also have book like Tolwanga Abui, Frederick Kotso, Ishamusela Hindabuko Vatsonga, what they used to eat, the Ishiadi, Koma, Liti, Komba, Bungaka, the department Deja Bungaka, Koshi, Meragwa Koshi King. Koshi would have to protect your land. So to ensure that your people are safe. So a Koshi na analysis responsibility. That's why I don't see a value ya Koshi. Hayoloro Koshi asale motwa tradition wasitso. Okay. I grow Koshi because
yes.
Yes,
you are traditional leader.
Yeah, Mariano Holo.
You are no longer tradition.
I was a passer.
Yes.
Oh, my Christ, I was a passer. I was a Valera Tsonga, we were Valera Sokoa Majaja.
Yeah.
So, why do you still want that title? Because of the money. So that's why I don't see any value in these things anymore. The Indians don't have a king. They still manage to. The Africans, they are cultural people.
They're economically empowered.
They don't have.
So those books, I want you to continue with the books.
Oh yeah.
Are they written in Tsonga?
But 800 years of Tsonga history is written in English. So meaning a person who wants to know about their history, but they didn't learn Tsonga. Like now, I learned Kitutile more Northwestern Alubukeng Wabarke Saharona. It was like a Bible like this. So Nari Tuta Sezwana go school. Yanaribua Sezwana. Okay. Mara Vajwagua, Lesipedia or Rasobele. So Mara Bukacharina mostly Tsonga, but there are those who are written in English.
Okay.
For so somebody who's around you in Gauteng who never learned Tsonga can have an opportunity to know where they come from.
Yes.
And then
and then continue with those books.
So Renali it's the proverbs.
Okay.
Renale the storybooks, the novelle, it's a Tsonga, like Shisomisani, and the little Banaba school. ba ba ithutang ko from grade 1 to matric. So we have the dictionary, those books tsa Xitsonga.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's history books, novels, stories, literature, lifestyle ya Vatsonga. So we have every category.
Published by?
Currently ke bereka le Sasabona Publishers.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I also, this guy.
Yeah.
Mabunda. There's very Tsonga beverages by Mashudu. We sell these gins, wines, vodkas. So for your wedding, re khona ho brandela or mashiane, lobola celebration, very Tsonga, re go kwalle sereto sa heno mola, and then re go tlisetse di cases tsa very Tsonga wines.
Yes.
And then spirits.
Okay. I do see unale your social media handles there, and those who need to contact you will use the same social media handles that you have on
TikTok,
your name badge. Yes,
Facebook.
Yes, to contact you.
Yeah.
And then so this you sell to people or you sell to public? When I say to people and public, I'm saying, do you have this on retail or people come and bulk buy? And then yes.
Yeah, currently we only work etenko tsanin ko di shopo.
Okay.
Ko spa. But currently we distribute ko batho ba rekisang like body barking the distributors tabiana re khona ba supply ba rekisetse di customers tsa bona. But also normally our target market ke batho ba nang le mebereko like manyalo, the unveiling. So we then supply you.
And then we
we personalize it the way you want it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then ke butche di price or the price can depend on what
agree ya karo o reka like it's a 350. Wine it's a 92 rand. Mar ho reka in bulk re ba re go khona go beela discount e tsananyana.
Okay. All right. No. Re leboga or e dula mo
ke tla go diela ge wa ba winda bo kgai.
All right. No. Re leboga what other things do you do beside this?
I got actually the belani, so traditional attire, so belani mi check at the yellow, the April. So mpahla ndabuko the hembe ta banuna shukyo this.
Hence you say the lifestyle.
We want to keep us. We brand it. Rebia Totem ya he nuka mona. O izege ke.
Re batlokwa.
Re go diela le na ba. Re go kwalla sefane le lebitso la tlene. And then re go kwalla le lebitso la hao ka mo. Rebia Totem ya.
Okay.
Keep a jare nachi. Okay. So le di hempe traditional di hempe marara accommodate ba venda ko re kreksha minwenda le misisi.
Okay.
Musisi le malungu.
Okay.
Jija attire ya sevenda.
Okay. No, it's fine. I think Libonulo Mukra guy on his socials, Batlau Kragona, and then Batlau contact. Nakatswalla, Ronald into Shotamu.
Mahalaba issue. Muhalabu Malovana Bolela Hunyala. Kinzako or Fuman. Or Kakitsoyaka.
No, is it not the one way? I was saying, but kuna but allowed to block or banyala
so my understanding from my grandparents, because they would marry within. That's why mama ke motloholo ha maluleke, and then maluleke o ke motloholo ha manganye, like so they would marry within the clan.
Okay.
Abako I take the shakata makop. We don't bring foreigners yet.
Yes. Yes.
So that's why Kashitsonga malumu wateka tukulu.
Mr. Ilemus. Baku malumu aluma.
Ako nako magali ako mediashi beans. Sibitisa puti. So there will be a ritual that is performed so that you can go on. Agraba pasa. Ape ba le tsibisha mo badimu ba phahla mediashibinzi go ndwa ntirolwa wa traditional
shibinzi le sia excuse ya ukanga.
For us we have to keep it within us. For the khomuje di tswa ka mo dia go ya ha. And then also to avoid bringing foreigners or
Yes.
traitors
Yes.
within us, because
To disturb the culture.
Yeah,
Yes.
I get it. So they would prefer so that within my family, a lot of them married
Yes.
within, and generally
Within the generation, the prescribed.
I'm Mawunda.
Yes.
I married Kamabunda.
Okay.
Ne?
Okay, explain it. So, o nyetse ngwana wa ga Mabunda wa sefane sa ge le ena ke Mabunda.
Wena o le mashiane wa ya wa nyala ga mashiane.
Oh, so nangwe me just means
Bjale le papa wa Mefro o nyetse ha Mabunda ele Mabunda.
Bunda.
Yeah.
And then
So this has been practiced for generations to generations.
Oh.
It isn't that now. But what you would avoid, they would say, iteka ka nyimba yin'wana. Rena re batlogolo ba khazamula. And then ba le ke batlogolo ba Risenga. So you would marry ka mo ha Risenga, not ka mo ha Khazamula.
mara ke Mabunda kaofela. And then the Khazamulas would be the parking this because I said in the other podcast or this reciprocal surnames the clan names nkana
For example,
rena tona rena in Sotho languages
ka rena ke
di totems lena ke di this clan names ke di nkana
rena clan name e ba le totem ya ona mara go ne totem ya clan go ne totem ya sefane agara re ba hlabe setlen but as Mabunda rena le totem ya rena and then mo Mabunda re khona o shumisha difane tša bokoko hena ba ka bungeni line ya ka bungeni ba ka nkongonyi wa Golatini wa Mdzele and then kuna ba ka Nyabane la ba nga fikela la Mtjatji ne ba ka Nyabane ba ka Shaki inyimba yin'wana ya bahlabe ba ka Mabunda. So they use their fathers' names as surnames. Like the Nkunas, they would have Shilubani, Mklava, Shipalani, Kulaleni, Mboweni. These are Nkunas.
Very confusing.
And now you end up
it's
being
very
confused
confusing
because most of these people who are using Shipalani might not know that Shipalani is actually Nkuna.
Yeah, I see. That's what I'm telling you. These things, it's very confusing.
But it was also to allow us to marry.
And intermarrying makes it.
But it has been practiced in
the reciprocal name that I wanted was
India. Indians, they married like that.
Yes, I know, because the Akribana they're arranged. So the reciprocal names that I wanted was Istagazelo. Yes. So yes, so Linalina list Tagazelo that goes with the surnames. Surname of this doesn't marry with it. Ranarnale a totem that we venerate, and these totems kidi animals. And to you guys, do you venerate totems, and what are they? Are they surnames or are just?
No, totem.
For us, totem is strictly an animal.
For a neck, it can be a land. Like the novellas would have land as their totem.
Yeah.
The Zita will have something else. Makamu will have Marula.
Yeah.
So it can be a plant, it can be just a land, it can be an animal. Animals, strictly it's animals. I don't know if any Sotho families who do not have, but Sotho. Okay. So the North Sothos, the Western Sothos, the South Sothos, all kid animals. Remember, depending on how far you take it, this deserves a podcast on its own. Bakoni. Yo, if I start Kabakoni, you know an area called Macharasdorp? Macharasdorp ke north of Carolina, Albert Luthuli municipality. That area, it's deep Koni tribe, to an extent that people are even saying the rest of the Ngona, the Ngunis and stuff, they all emanate from Bakoni, because Kibukoni. And you know the Adam's calendar. Adam's calendar. Adam's calendar. You know where it is? It's in Mpumalanga. It's in deep
but it's one of the oldest man-made structures. Ke yona Nzalwelang. Yes. Pleke la ke Bokoni. But Bokoni, you if that's why it deserves a podcast on its own, because it will demystify a lot of things. When you read further, only the structures, the cycles. You remember those cycles that you see whenever it's because the podcast is long and I don't want to make it much longer than it is. That's why I'm saying it deserves another, because you know there's it's long. Let me not dwell into that big rabbit hole, because it's a podcast on its own. And I was thinking like in a little tau, because we promised each other Nuguma. Oh, that tau. So he promised to sit with me down. I was in Limpopo, but what I want to do is I want to sit with him, because I want us to dwell strictly into that. When I speak to him, but I know I may not get time, because when he comes to Gauteng, he's always in a hurry. When I met him, we could not sit down, because I want him to sit and explain, because there are things that we do not understand, and he understands them a lot. But anyway,
1 hour won't be enough for him.
Yes,
because it will also touch on the spirituality.
Yes.
And
the people who miss this thing that we are doing is they complain, your podcast are so long, because it takes about a week, maybe 30 minutes, and then I spend 15 minutes because they get disturbed.
Unless maybe
part 1, part 2. Like I did with Ntako, part 1, part 2. But like I say, I don't want it to be long, but I also don't want to suppress you. And the nature of the talks.
But we can always come back if there's.
They are sensitive. When I say something, I need to give context so someone may not misconstrue what I said, because you guys are very harsh on us. So when we say something, I need to protect it and expand it so you could actually understand. Like someone is going to say, "Mashane urile inzalwelanga asiyabang guni kiaba koni inging."
That's why you have to explain.
Yeah, that's why I have to explain. That's why I tell you, maybe let's leave it. But being there as it may, thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing this knowledge. What I always try to do is I always try to bring knowledgeable people, and knowledge is not dictated by me who is knowledgeable or not. Well, there's someone who's going to watch this and say, "Oh, Fumanu Wahlanya." And our people, unfortunately, when they disagree without respect.
And then
Barogana. And this is what we struggle with.
We still even lead the historians.
Yes.
You have this one historian saying this based on what he found, those who he interviewed and all that. You'll find a different version from this one. So that's why I want to take everything with a pinch of salt. So you gather information from different sources. Then you look at the similarities. So, and then to avoid you also research for yourself. And if you have a different view, you share it politely. Say,
you would see in the comments, someone is going to disagree with what you say because it puts them in a different light, but they are not going to say that guy is wrong here, this is the correct narrative. No, they're just gonna say he's wrong. He knows fuck all.
No, so, there's that defensive that comes out of us whenever we feel and then as for le ona ntwe ya rena ena ke bolela ka ona mafuka o tshwana le bonda bezita le mabulandlela le rena ba hlabe re theta re mhlabendina wa tsiba o re ira gore ntwe mhlabe a cricket line yare mara they used to, those shangans, they would call us mhlabendina. Meaning it's like saying Jandina or Lequapatina.
So in other words,
so in other words,
that thing of saying whoever conquers writes the history.
It's correct.
It prevails.
And then now when you're reciting it without understanding
the
where
context.
It comes from. So this was my bulandlela mhlabendina and diversity. If you listen to where it comes from, it doesn't make sense to you those things.
Okay, so let's agree to close. I might call you, you know, for what? Marriage. discuss marriage and relations. So for example, but Banguni, they've managed to practice even to the modern is Tembe. Yours, it's only Leo Nyala cousin.
And then my grandmother was married with her sister.
Baba Chiribai too,
that was normal within us.
Yes.
But like I'm from, my mother's from Manganyi.
Yes.
Manganyi took married in the Malulekas, the firstborn and the lastborn.
Wait. So in other words, you married one, they gave you Banzel.
And that's one I think would start coming to the sister to assist with the washing and other stuff.
No. I want you to understand this part. I want you to understand this part. Because deliberately, I want us to talk about all these types of marriages that African people entered into.
Oh, yeah.
So, for example, Reina, they don't want to break the family relations. And then, because ola o shota ka engeng tshwara o a shoti ka ntwe yo, because ordinarily if na shota no mo jiksetsa morago or no ilo bas sort of slave go kata mosadi wa from another tribe o lo tswenya o because o tla a tseba o sokollaeng but ola wa se sia ga a totlang o tlo ba tseba no.
So example has na bana na ba khono tsia sisi ne.
Yes.
He o a tswala bana wa tseba bana ba ke ba ma ke ba o.
Yes.
Ba bitsa o mma o ba mitsa mmane even le go nna go ntate moholo na nyitse ba bedi akere le baba o na le bana mara le ba na ba bitsa o mma o ba mitsa mmane
because they recognize that she's junior in the marriage. Yes. So yeah, so I want us to come and discuss that marriage, yes, all the types.
Le o ne morato ga se Tsonga ke morato wa tsena a khono khudisha bana ba ka gore o ka se tle mokanse a tlo khudisha bana ba mabunda
Jesus
tshwantse be mabunda go disha madi a rena.
No, let's agree for you to come back.
And an issue di koma question ko re mo setšhabeng sa rena esa ne musola na koma le khomba ya ke ya basadi musola gona ke eng ka gore matšatša e sa swihlange a khombeni a ngomeni. And then remember that these things that they teach them there that are supposed to be when you have matured of age, maybe 18, ready for marriage. So go ruta ngwana wa 13 years ngwanyana dilo tša mapai mo ruta ka monna mo hola ke eng ka ona he ba boya ba thoma experiment ba thoma go jola ba nyako lujina ba di bona kwa ba thoma go nyako di dia ba ithutile metsoko na go hlola o dutile ba khala ba tsuba ba nwa go kome ithuta dilo jeo o tlo o ngwana influence ba le majeja ka re mo kgwebo and then culture la rena ra esenya ka o risha bana mo dilo tse ba expose mo lo tse batho ba bagolo
a o tshabe gore ba tlo re o bolela ditaba tša ka kwa and ditaba tša ka kwa di
a ra tsena deep mara re ra gore batho ba boya behavior.
Yes.
O tseba ka monna o ne 13 le go khotsofatsa monna o ra information o di hanga yona mola na ba tshwantse
ba ile re wena o tseba ka eng gore ba bolela eng ka kwa wa bona taba ye e dira gore go be difficult go bolela maboshaedi a setšo sa rena because go na le lotse le reng deliberately ba re o ska di bolela a di boledi so ge di na le diphoso we are afraid to talk about
o di addressa kae
exactly but if you are willing let's say you di gere tlo bolela ka
a ne mo go khupisha batho ga le ba nthoile ka bontšha ona bothata
a re tswala go gopela re tswala is too long and then nalona we agree you are going to come back to discuss the types of marriages and then re tlo compare le tša segane bjalo and then o tla tšhela le ya koma because e linka directly because ke preparation ya because ke rite of passage.
That's correct.
Everyone in most cultures ba o prepare o ba monno mo bjang that's why ga ne be le struggle in family because comma it was preparatory school by which a rite of passage oba monna
o khono emela challenges e kota go na bana botlamuleri e timela e ba wa nuna wa muti le go re wansati wa
Yes.
itse khono e tshwara ka bo
dilo tse di o tlhagelang ba setse ba o boditse mo le goreng a se batswadi ba go ba o boditse
a ka batswadi a shantse ba
exactly
tele
no re ka se go botse in a fair way and re ka se go botse le the harshest reality
ra go
re le
see.
batswadi le koma it was serving that purpose and it was important.
It was very important.
Yes, but
Na
gane bjalo
na ba nyaka le masole na ba nyaka monna hao wa lepe
yes so gane bjalo ngwana wa 13 years o thoma puberty and nakoela it was the right time gore o mo shekomeng ka yona nako ene
gore e se ka
and
wa
o thoma go mmotsa gore ntwe a ya sona re tsene mo ge e ka tsena mo go tlo ba le ntho
ba le-
wa bona e tsena mo go le nako
and kana ba nyalo e sa le ba banyana
Exactly.
Like, 15
Exactly.
already so it will serve a purpose then.
correct but gane bjalo re shiftile it's around 25 years because o tlo ba dirile dilo tse kao fela tsona di nyakang
Yeah.
so wena o mo fa 10 years advanced knowledge guys, sorry to make it very long, much and politically correct. Please just tell us what you feel about what we do. We know it's a long one. If you are seeing part 2, maybe just try to check part 1 as well. Thank you very much. Tell us your opinions. What do you feel about this? And also, let's encourage each other. Let's get educated while we are being educated without swearing at anyone. Thank you very much. Katla.